Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Welcome to the Center for Creative Living, and I'm the Reverend Doti Boon, and we're here to invite you to learn more about friends today. I'm going to be doing a talk about friendship, how to be friends with yourself, with other people, and even how to be friends with your family members. Sometimes that can be difficult to do. And then our upcoming sermons, next week we're going to be hearing from the Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine, and she's going to be talking about 3 ways God answers us during traumatic times. I'm excited about that. And then we have a new speaker. Her name is Izzy. Some of you may have mentioned her at some CCL functions. She's going to be talking to you about Miracle from the Woods. Ooh, isn't that fun? And then Connie Habash is coming back. Now, Connie is a wonderful psychologist. Many of you have been to our center and heard her speak before. She's going to be speaking about responding to the world's shadow. Ooh, yeah, we're kind of in a shadowy time, aren't we? And then we're going to start off next month with Day of the Dead with Laura Marshall. You all remember Laura. She's that exciting woman that's been at CCL for a long time. And our Reverend Dr. Janet Childs. So, I want you to stay tuned and hear about friendships.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and I'm the president of the Universal Church of the Master, and I am also very happy to be sharing this morning's prayer. Now, probably the first thing you notice is that things look a little different from the last time that you guys saw me. I now have a home studio, which I put together, and since I've been active on YouTube, and I'm going to be starting on Twitch, and I'm also now starting to follow my career as a voice actress. I felt it was appropriate to create an environment that supported that. Now, since the fire, since I came back, it's been difficult and it's been really challenging. Because even though my house remained okay, there was something that I lost in the fire, which was my safe space. And even though I didn't physically lose it, I emotionally lost it, because this place always seemed invulnerable and protected. And even though it was physically protected, now it feels vulnerable. Another fire could happen, and in fact, on Friday night, we had a breakout fire just a few miles from me. And while we're not on an evacuation warning, they just said, well, keep an eye out, watch for breakout fires and spot fires, and just be ready in case you need to leave. So my safe space is now vulnerable. And I was having a very, very, very hard time coming back into it. And so I decided I needed to create something new that would allow me to kind of, reclaim my space and allow me to come back in and realize that it will never be what it was, at least not in here and not in here. And by creating something new, by creating something that is attached to something positive that I'm moving towards, it's helping me to be able to reestablish my connection and to feel okay, because it's sort of like it's new and it's old at the same time. And I'm sorry for that, my computer is on. But anyway, I am still kind of working it out. I'm still kind of working out the bugs, but it feels good. It feels good to have something that is a part of my future, because my connection to my past has been affected. My connection to the feeling that I had here. And sometimes we all need to do that. We need to bring in something new that will allow us to be able to step forward, that is a part of something we want to achieve, and to create that in our environments, in our lives. So if you're feeling kind of stuck, consider creating something new. Consider that maybe there's something you always wanted to do or something you always wanted to learn. Bring that into your space and give yourself at those difficult times when, it's not so easy. Every time a siren goes by, or a fire truck goes by and I hear the siren, I still, and I know ultimately that will pass. And at the same time, I also know that I need to be able to do things to start moving myself out of the past and into the future. So this is a part of that, and you guys are the first ones to see it. So wish me luck. And now take a nice deep breath in. And as you let it out, just let anything weighing on your body, your mind, your spirit, from your past or from the present, just let it fall aside into that little imaginary basket next to you. That's your care basket. And in this space and at this time, you don't need to hold it. Dear blessed and wonderful Creator, we thank you for this day and we thank you for our lives. We thank you for the blessing that is in each and every moment and with each and every breath. Thank you for the blessing of, and please bless all of those who are moving forward and all of those who are being challenged by the past. Creator, we ask your blessing on all those who are in a difficult time, who are feeling stuck, and maybe they're not feeling you so much in their lives. Creator, I pray that each and every one of them become aware of you, feel you next to them, feel you encouraging them, feel you being there for them. May they notice the little blessings in their lives and also notice the times that things didn't go quite right, but that you were still there, and that in that, those times are a blessing as well. Creator, thank you for all of those who are fighting so very hard to be able to put these fires to rest. And I pray that Grandfather, who has taught us much through this process, that the lesson be complete and that this process may end so that we may move forward and heal. Creator, thank you for the blessing of, and please bless all those who are in ill health, all of those who are not in a good space with their bodies. Creator, may they realize that their bodies are sacred and that you are with them, and may your healing extend out to them. Creator, may everybody who is struggling financially because of these times, may they be comforted, and may they know that abundance flows endlessly from you. And also, may they remember the 3 ways you answer prayers. First, no, because it's not what's best for you. Second, not yet, because if you wait a little longer, you'll realize that the gift I have for you is even greater. And third, I thought you'd never ask. Creator, there are so many people going through such hard times right now, and I pray that each and every one of them be surrounded by love and comfort. And for those who are essential workers and who are out there taking care of everyone, may they be blessed with safety and health. And Creator, for all those in our leaderships here and all over the world, may the leaders realize that they are responsible not just for their people, but they are responsible to them. And may you guide each and every one, and may they hear you. May they find you in their deliberations and their decisions, and may they understand the responsibility that they hold. Creator, thank you for the blessing of those who work every single day to make the lives of others better. And may each of those people be strengthened and understand that it's important for them to reach out when they need it. Creator, thank you for all you give and all you are. And whatever it means to you, we hope you have a wonderful day. For all your creation to the next 7 generations and beyond. Aho metak oyasin, ago, ago, ago. By earth, sea, and sky. Namaste, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Blessed be. Amen.
Good morning. This is the Reverend Doti Boon. I'm back. I said I was going to be. And we're going to be talking about friendships. Well, I have this wonderful short little poem that I wrote in the 4th grade, and it is, wonder what you're doing now. Hope you're having fun. Wonder who you're thinking of. Hope I'm the lucky one. I think that symbolizes my entire life. Okay. And I know the teacher said, Doti, you think people should be thinking about you? And I said, of course. I think everybody should be thinking about me. So the idea of friends and having friends. Many people during this pandemic, I call them and say, what are you doing? And they say nothing. I said, have you talked to anybody today? No. Call someone. Oh, they don't want to hear from me. Text somebody. Oh, no. Go on a Zoom and do something. No. And it's the idea of they think they're going to be a burden. Somehow they're worried that people aren't going to hear from them. Please start reaching out. This last August, I lost one of my dearest friends. We had known each other forever. We had gone to school together. I was in high school with her. Had known her for over 60 years. Isn't that a long time? And we had never gotten mails from her, never got texts from her. She was the type of person that never wanted to reach out. And I didn't care. I would call her, I would go by to see her, I would text her, I would email her, and she was always so glad to hear from me. And I'm so glad that we went by in January and visited her, because my friend Barbara died of COVID-19 in August. And what would I have lost if I hadn't been the one to reach out? This woman was not only a dear friend, she was a maid of honor when I got married, and she was my son's godmother, my eldest son, Bart. Look at that energy there and all that friendship, that if I could just sit back and say, well, she didn't call me. No, there was so much there, and every time I called her, she was excited. She told me what was going on. But this ability that people have to just shut down and say, well, if they're not calling me, they don't want to keep this friendship going. I have people that say to me, you know, we're always drifting apart. No, you're not. You're not an iceberg. You're not drifting off the continental shelf. You're a person that won't pick up the phone and call someone. Please do that, because there are people out there that need to hear your voice. How do you make a friend? Have you ever thought of that? Watch children in a sandbox. Watch how they see each other and they go, yay, there's another one of my species and they're about the same height. And they quickly start playing together. And when they leave, they say goodbye. Sometimes they even cry because they have to leave. And sometimes they give each other a hug. And none of this is based on their color, their age, their physical condition, how much money they have, whether they said first or not. All of those things that we get carried away with when we become adults disappear in that sandbox. What happened to your young child who would just walk up and meet people? You know, when I talk about Barbara, I think about how we met. We met in a roller rink. Isn't that exciting? We were standing there waiting to be chosen. Do any of you remember when the girls stood there and waited for the guys to come up and choose them? And I was lucky enough, in fact his name was Lucky, somebody asked me to roller skate. And Barbara wasn't. And I remember feeling sorry for her. So afterwards I walked up to her and said, Hey, I'm sorry nobody chose you. She said, I just want to escape by myself. I don't even know why I was waiting. And I like that energy. So think about the energy of people you meet and how you meet them. And with her, I went on to be such a good friend that I was the one she called after her son had been murdered. I was the one at that time when she called, I knew that something was drastic because she had reached out. Because she knew I would be there as a friend for her. Now, think of the friends you aren't friends with anymore. How come? What happened? Did you move away? Did they upset you? Did they say something that you didn't like? So many times somebody says, well, they said this and this. Get over it. You'd be amazed. Quite often people forget even what they said. So what you do is you just call. Say, hi, how are you doing during this difficult time? I want to get a chance to talk to you. So stop worrying about you. You. Don't keep worrying about you. Being a good friend means going out of your way to drop by, to send birthday cards, to text them. And you can't be in control of what another person does, but you can certainly be in control of you. This isn't turning you into a masochist where you're always hurting yourself. No, you're not hurting yourself. You're helping somebody else that's out there that needs your happiness and your joy. Because during this difficult times, a lot of people are going through rough patches. Don't you know somebody that is? You've heard me talk about the 4 phone calls I make a day. And these are people I know that are going through a difficult time. And then I have people that I just haven't talked to for a while. And I feel they need to talk. They need to talk. And I just call them up. Say, hi, this is Dottie. Let's talk. And it's amazing what people start to talk about. Are you one of those people that's waiting for a call? Do it yourself. Just reach out and do it. Because this isn't a quid pro quo thing. This isn't I call you, you call me. This is I call you, we talk. I had a great time. Next week I'm going to call you again. And we talk and we have a great time. And I'm not sitting here waiting for the phone to ring. The phone does go both ways, but sometimes you need to have to be the one that does the calling. So think about that. And think about how you can let this person know that you're kind of the center of your life. Doesn't that feel good to feel like you're the center of somebody's life? Now, the other thing I've been doing is I've been spending at least 3 hours a day writing my story. Oh, this is exciting. I've done so many different things, and I'm so glad to tell the world, well, not everything, but most everything. Right now I'm in Michigan in my story, because my husband and I and 2 kids took a year's trip around the United States when my kids were 3 and 5, and they're now in their late 50s, so I've got quite a bit of story left to talk about. But what I found out as I'm doing this, that this connection with my past makes me aware of the people that were very important in my life, and makes me aware how many times that the 2 of us got together, or maybe we didn't, and I miss that. And so some of you have known me for 40 years, and you'll be so surprised that I call or text. One of these people was John Bush. I was looking through my address book and I thought, there's John. And I dropped him a line. And last night I got a call from Reverend John Bush. And Reverend John Bush, I haven't heard or seen him for at least 20 years. But we happened to be talking about his mother and her experience with the Nazis during World War II when she ran a boarding house. Interesting story. And I want to get back together with John and get some more interesting stories that he has. Okay? And think of what is the connection you have to make friends. Well, one of my friends was with Ada. Ada Agnew was a dearest friend of mine. And I met her in a dance studio. Yeah, I was living in Hollywood at the time, and I decided to take a modern dance class. And I met this beautiful, tall, slender, very elegant woman And we started talking. Now, I don't think we had much in common. She could dance, I couldn't, that type of thing. She was a dance for a wonderful dance group called Lester Horton Dance. And we got to be such good friends that after I moved away from Los Angeles and up here, she and I became partners in a bookstore. Some of you may remember I owned Brigadoon Metaphysical Bookstore in Los Gatos for 3 years in the 80s. And through Brigadoon, I met Corky. I mean, hey, that's yeah. Well, I was teaching classes on how to read auras, and I met Emma, and I met all these wonderful people that I'm still friends with through talking to them and getting to know them. And so, when it comes to you really being there for somebody, it doesn't mean you just sit. You interact with them, but you also are a respectful listener. If somebody comes up and says, Dottie, I don't know what to do. My dad is dying. You don't say, oh, my dad died. What help is that for them? It's a little bit of knowledge, but it's not much help. And what you do is say, what's happening? Tell me about it. People who are in grief need to talk about it. But that's the one time in their life they don't want to, because they might cry. Oh no. What happens when someone's talking to you and they start to cry? Quite often, they put their hand on their face, they back away, say, oh, I gotta go. And you know what I do? I grab their hand and I say, you can stay. And you can cry. And I'll probably cry with you. Because I believe that you and I are such good friends that crying together sounds like the best thing we could do right now. Be sympathetic. It's not about your story. Be there for people. And don't say, oh, I know Joe's dad just died. Don't compare stories. Just find out how to be there. If this sounds a little bit like being a minister, it is. Being a good friend is you doing your ministry. For me, a real good friend is somebody who can go into your house and open up your refrigerator and grab something to eat or drink without asking. They're such good friends, they feel your home is their home. Well, I had this happen. A friend of mine, his name is Frank. And every time Frankie would come over to our house, he'd open up the refrigerator and say, Mama Boon, what have you got to eat? Well, I went where he was working at his restaurant. And I walked up and I said, hey, what you got in this refrigerator? And I opened up his industrial-sized refrigerator and looked in. And Frankie and Johnny and Luigi Stu said, what you looking for, Mama? And I said, pizza. And he said, heads up. And just as I turned around, he flung the raw dough of a pizza he was making at me. And so to stop it, I put up my arm. And everybody in the restaurant just cracked up, and I did too, because here I've got pizza dough draping over my arm. And I walked up to him, and I unpeeled it, and I said, I'll take it to go. And he said, no, you won't. We'll cook you one. And the pizza's on the house. And Frankie and I had that kind of fun get-together, even though he was the age of my kids. And when I'd go to his restaurant, I had to be real careful, and because he never wanted to pay for food. And he always said, we're such good friends, Dottie. You don't have to pay. And I said, Frankie, that's why I am paying, is because we're such good friends. It's never take advantage of your friends, especially if they're in business for themselves. Another person I met in an interesting way was I was at a party, and this man came by, and he had brown curly hair, little brown curls all over his head, and he was smoking a pipe that looked like a wizard. And he had kind of a twinkle in his eye. And he walked by, and I reached out, because I'd been reading The Hobbit by Tolkien. And I reached out, and I grabbed his arm, and I said, are you a hobbit? And he looked up at me, and he smiled, and he said, you want to see my furry toes? We got to laughing so hard, and we got to talking. And he said he had just moved to California, He was looking for a place to stay. He was in a hotel. He had a job at Lawrence Livermore Lab. He was a chemist. And I said, well, come stay at our house. So Josh came and stayed at our house for 6 months until he got a place he really liked. And my kids still call him Uncle Josh. And Uncle Josh now works in Washington, D.C., and he works for the National Institute of Health. So if you ever ask me what's going on in the world of health, I call Josh. And just think, I met him because he talked about his hairy toes. There are so many different people that you can meet in different ways. Many of you know I was a paralegal. And I was a paralegal for years. And before I got in touch with Ma's ability to do readings for other people, he was just working for me. And I worked for an attorney in Cupertino who represented the Hells Angels. Now, these guys and I got to know each other very well. And they'd call me up and ask me how much it was for a felony, which is kind of an interesting way to start a conversation at any time, okay? But one weekend, my husband and I and our boys were in the gold country. And we had a flat tire. And oh no, you know, the whole routine, you have to get out, open the trunk, get the jack, you know, and all of a sudden we hear roar, 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 roar of motorcycles. And they went by and then there was a screech and they turned around and came back. And one of the leaders of the Alameda Hells Angels got off and said, hey, Daddy, what's going on? And as his guys got off the bikes, he introduced them to me and said, this is my friend Dottie. And one of them changed the tire. And two others said to the boys, you want to go for a ride? And my kids got on the motorcycle and had a ride with the Hells Angel. They were 12 and 14 at the time. That was pretty hot stuff. And when they got back and they climbed off, I said, oh, Gary, thank you so very much. This is wonderful. He said, here, I want to hand you something. And it said, courtesy card. You have been helped with it. You have been helped beside the road by a Hells Angel. And he said, I only give this to my special friends. Special friendships. They're wonderful, aren't they? And you never know when they're going to pay off. And just because I had been nice to people that other people might not be, I got my tire changed. My boys had the thrill of their lives, and I got a courtesy card. Another person I met at that same law office was my friend Rosie. She came in to sign papers one day, and this was in the 80s. And remember miniskirts? Oh, some of you weren't even born in the 80s, but they're pretty short. And she had bent over to sign some documents, and there were purple underwear right there. And I just kind of looked at her, and she realized that she was flashing the whole office, and she just looked at me and said, I'm glad I put on clean undies today, and went right on signing the documents. I loved her style. It was like, nobody's going to embarrass me. I'm doing what I need to do. We became friends. Her kids came over and swam at our place, and we talked almost every day. She moved to Manhattan after having been in Hawaii, after being all over the world. And we had this wonderful friendship. And one day she called and said, Dottie, I'm going to leave the planet. And I said, are you sick? And she said, no, I'm not going to wait to be sick. I said, Rosie, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to kill myself. I'm done. And I said, but you like it there? She said, I like it everywhere. But I'm through. Well, do you know what that does when a friend of yours says that? And we talked and talked. And I just put her in my prayers. She had counseling. She talked to doctors. Everybody said, you're fine. 2 days later, I got this feeling. You know how you get that niggly feeling? And I called. And the answer was, hello, this is Detective Martinez of the Manhattan Suicide Squad. And my friend had committed suicide. I called all of her friends. I wrote all the others that I could think of, and we had a huge memorial for her at CCL. And we all blessed her. We all thanked her for being in our lives. We all felt that 74 was way too young to leave, but it was her choice. That's one of the hardest ones I did, is having to celebrate somebody's life when I wasn't ready to let them go, even if they were. Have you ever had that, where you had to let somebody go? Isn't it something? Because as I'm talking to you, my friend Ada died from an accident. My friend Barbara died from COVID-19. And my friend Rosie committed suicide all within the year. And you know what? I was thinking about this and thinking about friends and realizing this year I've made 3 new friends. It's not like I'm replacing these wonderful women in my life. I'm just adding more people into my life. And as you know, I might grab any one of you and say, we're going to be friends. Because I like making new friends. I like to be able to giggle and laugh and hang out. Right now, I'm pretty limited to the house, as many of you are. But there's Zoom, there's Skype, there's text, there's phone, and there's even old-fashioned mail. Reach out to friends and get in touch with them. I have met friends in my psychic classes. That's a wonderful place to meet people. If you wonder, what can I do? Go online. Right now, they have so many different workshops that are free where you can meet people. I've met interesting people in my life just by being kind of gutsy. I've met Dr. Ernest Holmes. I've met Earl Stanley Gardner. I met Frank Sinatra and gambled with him in a casino. Jeffrey Holder, who was this interesting black dancer. And Frank Zappa, went to school with him. And Sammy Davis Jr. ran into me. I came around a corner, he came around a corner, and he bounced off of me. You know, he wasn't a very tall guy. He came right about to my shoulders because I was wearing heels. And he made me spill my coins. And I went, oh my gosh. And he said, here, I'll help you. I said, no, Sammy, that's okay. But thank you for the offer. And there was a connection of person to person right there in the middle of the dunes. That's a casino. So think about that. What happens when you meet people? Now, I just talked about knocking over, or Sammy Davis Jr. knocking into me. The other one that was exciting was I was swimming, and this was a long time ago. It was 1952, off the beach at Santa Monica Pier. Way, way out. I love to swim in the ocean. Way out there. And I hit somebody. Now, usually if you hit something in the water, it's a seal or something. You're not hitting somebody. And it was this woman, and she said, oh, I'm sorry, you got good form there. And she kept swimming. So I followed her to the shore. And her name was Florence Chadwick. And she was preparing to swim to Catalina. She had already swam the English Channel both ways. First woman to do that. Imagine meeting a fantastic athlete in the middle of the ocean. I mean, what had happened if I hadn't said, hey, you know? Think about it. Running into interesting people and write them down. Start making your story. Start doing your memoirs. And you'll find that the greatest part of your memoirs are the people that you know, or the people you have known. Just because somebody passes away doesn't mean they're gone. Light a candle and talk to their spirit. I talked to Rose Ellen and Ada and Barbara and my mother and my father. I talk to people on the other side. You can too. You all are spiritualist beings having this human experience. Get in touch with people who passed away, especially those wonderful, wonderful friends that you had. You still have them, just in a different way. So it's time for you to think about that. Think about the friends that have gone and talk to them. Think about the friends that are here and contact them. And think of the friends that you're going to make. Do you have a friendly voice? Do you have a way when somebody starts talking that you can be friendly? Or do you get into a pity party? Do you know people that do that? If you say, I'm not feeling well, they say, you're not feeling well, I've got da-da-da-da-da. And you think, wait a minute, Don't do that. Don't say, oh, no, they're going to talk about themselves. Listen. Listen to what they have to say. That's the way you become a friend, is through listening. It's not all about you having to be heard. Take that time to listen to other people, because you'll find that there's so many people that you're so glad you had listened to. One of my best friends in the whole world, and you've heard about him, is the Reverend Byron Floyd. He and I met sitting on a patio, and I made some joke, and he got so flustered he knocked an entire bottle of ketchup off on the flagstone. And he was so embarrassed. And I laughed. And I said, come on, it's not that big a deal. And he said, but it is to me. And so he said, okay, I'll let it go. But I've got ketchup on my pants. I said, I'm not going to tell anybody. And we sat and talked about my brother, his sister, his family. And we were friends for the rest of his life. When Byron died, I was holding his hand. And at that point, I realized if I hadn't just ignored him, or I'd gotten upset because he broke a bottle of ketchup, I never would have met the best friend I've ever had. What are your friends doing that you don't like? Find a way to like it. Find a way to talk to them about it. You know, I've been through births of different people's children. I've been people who have changed gender. I've been people who have graduated from college. I've attended all sorts of celebrations, and I've attended a birthday party where they had the biggest cake you've ever seen, and Corry and I were the only two people there. There's times when you go, I'm so glad I made the effort to support and be there and show people that they are loved and that they are appreciated. I always say each one of us are children of God. We are. And God has created all of us with so many different energies, so many different things that we can share, so many different stories that we have within us. Yes, you can be a friend, but you can also be a minister. You can also allow people in your life to be there for you. But most of all, start looking at how you can be there for them. What would you do if a minister came to your house and all they did was talk about themselves? Try and fit yourself into people's lives. To be a listener, dear and glorious listener. To be a friend, loving and accepting friend. To be the person that they call when they're going through a difficult time. But most of all, love yourself. This is the best friend you're going to have all your life, is you. You started out together, you and yourself. So let's keep up the friendship. And know that you're going to be here, and you're going to be wherever else you go. And anywhere on the path that you feel lost, look around. There's somebody else there that probably needs your help more than you can imagine. Thank you so very much. We have poetry that we have in our CCL Insights. It's amazing the poetry that people have written. People have brought poetry in and sent it to Corky to put into the CCL Insights. If you're not getting the Center for Creative Living Insights, please email me at safe, S-A-F-E, Doti, D-O-T-I, at AOL.com, and we'll gladly send you CCL Insights. If you want to have a reading, same email. If you want to talk to me as a friend, write the same email or give me a call at 408-220, and I forgot the rest. 408 578-220-5780. I was going to give you Corky's phone number. And I went, oh, that's not good. I'm asking you to call me, okay? Because let's talk. Let's get together on the phone or Skype. Now, for any of you writers out there, I'm going to be taking a thing called a Gold Rush Writers Group. It's free. You can go online and pick it up. It's for tomorrow, whether it's for, Saturday and Sunday, different times, and they've got wonderful lecturers going on. Because I know we've got writers out there of poetry and scripts and books and sermons that you know you're worth on the planet by being a friend and a minister. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.
In the heart of my journey, you are a beacon of light, healing, holding comfort. You bear witness to my night, bear witness, bear witness. Bear witness, bear witness, bear witness, bear witness. Friendship is a paradise. Friendship is a test. Friendship is an openness. Friendship is a place I can lay my head down and rest. Bear witness, bear witness. Bear witness to the heartache and the pain. Bear witness, bear witness. Bear witness. We'll bring each other home again. An invitation to be real. Permission to deeply feel. I stand by you in readiness to hold true to the compass. Bear witness, bear witness. Bear witness to the heartache and the pain. Bear witness, bear witness. We'll hold each other home again. In the heart of my journey, you are a beacon of light, healing, holding comfort. You awaken my lonely night. Bear witness, bear witness to the heartache and the pain. Bear witness, bear witness. Oh, we'll walk each other home again. You are my eternal guide. You are ever present, everlasting bond we hold to our essence. Bear witness, bear witness. Bear witness to the heartache and the pain. Bear witness, bear witness. We'll walk each other home again.
thank you for joining us for this celebration of faith and fellowship. We'll be back next Sunday, and for those of you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. If you appreciate this video and the work that the Center for Creative Living is doing, please press like on the video. You can share the video, and also please subscribe, because that will help this community and the church grow. Remember, in these difficult and challenging times, the opportunity to give and support an organization that has done so much for the community is tremendously important. Please help the Center for Creative Living continue in the wonderful work that it does. We will make it through this. We will be stronger for it. Our faith will carry us. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful week.